Welcome back everyone to the Atomic Islands. Between episodes I was checking out one of the local offshoot islands to the Mushroom Island, and I was wondering if it would be a good source to harvest mushrooms since it won't be part of the build. And I was exploring under it and I found this. Now this is technically in a cold ocean biome. Pretty sure it is. No, actually it's in the mushroom field. Take that back. So it is safe for the moment, but we've got the cold ocean nearby, so I'm sure there are nice spawnable areas around. And this could be a nice area to get some resources. And some spider webs. Did I remember to bring my shears with me? Yes, I did. This may be useful in one of my builds that I have in the future. What's even more important are these oak planks. And why are these so important? Because the only type of wood I've found so far is spruce, and of course you need a little variation in your wood if you want to have anything interesting in your builds. So therefore I'm going to go through this entire mine shaft and harvest every single one of these. Of course, exploring mine shafts inevitably brings you up against one of these things. I've got poisoned a couple of times already. I'm hoping I've got this thing well enough lit that I won't have to worry about anything popping up on top of my head. But yes, if I need a string farm or anything like that, this would be a good place to go. What level are we on? 42. Well, that might do it. That means actually I can reasonably build a farm in there. Farm it for the string. Oh, scared me for a moment when you had that pop out, but that might mean that there is a spawnable location nearby. Let me dump something in here that I don't need all that particularly much. Throw that in there for now. Let me pick up that string. And harvest the fence posts. I got into that little side trip because I was exploring this little island right here. This is a smaller island off the shore of the main mushroom island. And I'm going to treat this as a separate island for the purposes of my building. That means I can harvest the mushrooms here without worrying about restoring it afterwards because I need to clear out this area anyway. So I'm going to clear out all of the mushrooms on here and use that for the build that I'm going to be doing down there. So I am going to have quite a few more brown mushrooms than I said at the end of the last episode. So I'll clear out the mushrooms. And I'm going to be building my visitor centers right here. And I'm going to flatten out this island and remove all the mycelium. And I'm going to turn it into a build. Now I haven't quite decided which one yet. I was considering doing a tree farm here, but it looks a bit small. I think I need something larger for a forest if I'm going to do that. So I'm going to try to come up with a build, obviously dedicated to one of the elements, that will be fitting for a small island. as it will most likely take me some time to come up with a decision on what to do with that small island. In the meantime, I am going to bring this down because this I think is going to be right where I'm going to be building my visitor center for this particular area, and I'll build my first visitor center right here. Now, it would have been nice if I made my first visitor center out of a normal material such as spruce or stone or something like that, but it looks like it is going to be made out of mushroom blocks. Yeah, that's going to be a real typical thing to make it out of. And these visitor centers, now some of them are going to be different things, of course, but the baseline one is going to be a 5x5 tower. Let's see, what's the best way of doing this? Now, this is going to be our foundation. I know a foundation of mushrooms sounds like a very strange thing to be using, because usually a foundation is of something very strong and solid, but this is a mushroom island, so things are going to be a little bit atypical here. So I'm going to have this mushroom basis right here. Don't have a shovel. I wonder if I should just, yeah, I'll collect a little mycelium here. And, oh yeah. There you are with the rather dubious foundation for this build. We can only assume that it is some sort of stone or wood or similar material that is covered with a facade to make it look like a mushroom, because, let's face it, mushroom is not going to be a very good real building material. And the idea that I have here for this tower is that we are going to have brown mushroom blocks on the corners here. There you go. And over here, this is going to be a nice simple tower. And as I said before, assuming I remembered to say it before, is that this is inspired by a series of starter builds by Vitigarvia. One of his starter home suggestions was a simple tower. Obviously, that means something like that is, of course, survival friendly, which of course is something very important when you're doing a survival build series. There you go, and up to the corners that way. Let's go see how friendly this is to survival, since I did try this in order to see whether or not I could execute the shape and see what kind of shape I wanted. I did test it out on a creative world, but of course, if the entire point is for this to be survival friendly, the real trick is doing this when I get here. Now, while most of this is done to look mushroomish, the floors I am going to do out of spruce. And if I want to do spruce, I am going to want to do some spruce slabs. And the reason why I'm doing that and want this in spruce is because I want to use slabs for the floor. And I'm also going to need a large number of stairs, because stairs are going to be necessary in order to get up and down here when I have everything all nice and set up. Right, oh yeah, let me just do the whole thing that way. Or when I said stairs, I of course meant ladders. I don't know why I said stairs. Whew. the ladders are going to be going right here. Well, if I'm going to be in here, I might as well throw something in here that I won't be needing for the moment. That looks like a good candidate. Good. And bring this down here. Bring this down here. Good, and then we could put some ladders down to give us what we want there. So therefore we're going to get up and down with some ladders, and we can put this 1, 2, 3, 4 up here. Good. And that means I won't need these in the way anymore. Good. Well, that needs a little work, but that'll be done when I actually, oh yes, of course, do the floor, which is what I'm going to be doing right now. Good. Up and down, perfect. Good, and that's going to be the first level. Now the second one then would be like that. Good. So this is our entire first floor. And oh yeah, this is where we're going to be putting our map. So the map goes onto this wall, and of course we have views over all these 3 directions. Now, do I have any doors? And I think when I get my final location, yes, I do have doors. Good. What I don't have is inventory space, because I've got so many things I want to do at the same time. Good, and that gives us our door. Ah, perfect. Good, so now that gives us that. We've got our first level done. Oh, yes. Get on to the second level, and we do the same thing up here. Preferably without misplacing a block. That's the problem. When you misplace a mushroom block, you mess up 2 of them. And we'll just do it that way. Good. And we get to place these. And in this case, we've got windows going into all 4 directions. And hopefully I get this right. So I'm playing it a little close on the stems that I have here, but I think I've got 10 more stems, and that's enough for the next level because I don't need as many up there. Good. Oh yes, I still need slabs because this is the second level. This is where I'm going to have my sleeping quarters. Good. And up here, now this is going to go against the usual grain of most of the little towers that I'm making. Yeah. There you go. Just enough of these things. But what I'm going to be doing is on top of this have a cap, because most of them aren't going to have a roof to them, but this one will. And this roof is going to be made of red mushroom. There you go. Now that's just a temporary thing, so I can get that up. Is that the height that I'm looking for? Well, this is high enough for me to stand, which is good. Actually, let's try that. Because we want this to be similar to what you have in a red mushroom. You see in the red mushrooms you've got these 9 by 9 area there, and then it goes out from there. So we want 9 by 9 for the red mushroom there. Good. Good. And good. And then going out from there, we obviously don't want that there. And we'll need to put this here so that we can place that block. Good. Actually, we don't want one in the corner. Now I look at those, which of course breaks the ones on either side. Good. We want that. We want that. So I have to keep that in mind, which means I will have to use one of these little support ones on all of the sides. Like that, like that. Oops. I have to do this without getting myself killed. Amazing how carefully you have to place things when you're trying to do something made out of mushrooms. But always those little surprises you get when you're doing stuff out of unusual materials. Alright, take care of that one. That's right, Barry should have come out on top in the first place. There you go, there you go. All the way through for that. Perfect. Now don't fall down though. Certainly not far enough to actually kill me. Which is fortunate because, well, I could put this back without any trouble. I could put that one back without any trouble. Good. And now I could place the next layer of these. Now that goes down for 3. I'm going to go down for 2 for these. Oh! Ah! Ugh. While on a real mushroom, it goes out for 3 by 3. I can't use that limit here because I want this to go out further. And of course, proportionally, this has to go out further anyway because this is a bigger mushroom because the stem is 5 by 5 instead of the 1 by 1. Yeah, all those little things you'll find out when you take a look at it. Because what I want this to do is actually go out 5 by 5, not 3 by 3. Now that's going to make the whole thing tougher to build, of course. Because I want the mushroom to stick out from the stem, otherwise it just won't look like a mushroom. Alright, let's go down and have a look at it before the sun sets. Yeah. Alright, it's going to look better once the mushroom cap finishes going around it. So now I have to get the mushroom cap, go and drape down, which is going to be the tricky bit. Since we're going to be overlapping with the outside, we should do this bit of building on the outside. Now, question is the best way of arranging this. we'll try it that way. Once we get it started, though, we should be able to finish the rest of it from the ins. Shouldn't have too much trouble finishing the rest of it, since that means we can go one more down here. Yeah, this looks better already. Good. Let's get rid of that. Thank you. Right, that's one side. Let's have a quick look at that side. Then we can make sure that is ready for me to try it on the other 4. Looks like you'll need at least 2 sides in order to make a judgment on that, but I think it looks too shallow. I'm going to have to take down the roof and raise the sides by 1. That's the only way to make that work. Not what I would call a great masterpiece of art, but I think it works. And that would be our Mushroom Island Visitor Center. Good. And of course, that will be our first element, so we'll need a sign for this. With this done, we have the question of how many maps we're going to need in order to cover up this island. We'll begin with this one right here, where we seem to have quite a bit done here. Ooh. See the red mushrooms, all those big mushrooms pop up there? I wonder what those green things are. They're up there all over the place. We have all those little green dots. I've never looked at a... These green dots seem to be the little mushrooms that are all over here. We have the sea here. And of course the visitor center. The question is how I should do this map. It looks like we're going to need a little bit to the south at least. But I think that'll do for now, because that covers the principal part of the island. So we will take this for our first level. We will elaborate on this as I get more materials, but I guess that's a good initial map. Good. And that's our little island there. A little lake there. I guess I didn't know about that little lake, or I forgot about it. So that's the ground level. So this is where the visitors come and see a map of the place. Now on the second floor is going to be the sleeping quarters. So I could put a bed right here. So this would be my bed. I'll probably dump a little chest here for various items here. Now the third level. Usually the third level is going to be a lookout area, but since where the view is blocked, I thought this would be a good place to put our enchanting station. And I can just put some books here. Alright, that'll make a good start. Yeah, alright, so the bookshelves are now activated. So that gave me a little bit more that I could do when I do my enchantments. Okay, good. Just making sure that we're getting, we're getting letters out of all of them. So that'll help with my enchanting, though over time I'm going to have to get more and more of these, of course, as more and more sugarcane grows. And of course, down at the bottom is my storage area. For most of them, it'll just be a very small 3x3 area, but here you can see I have a lot more to it than that. And that is our first tower. Now let's get a sign. Here's some spruce planks, good. Now, I had been wondering where to put the signs for each of the elements, but of course, put it on the visitor center. Even though this is the first visitor center we completed, this is for element 19K potassium, and we might as well include the atomic weight on it. So there you go. That could be the template for what we do for our future ones. So of course, the future ones we have aren't going to be trying to look like a mushroom. But that is all that we have time for this episode. And that concludes our first element. And I think the next one we should try to tackle is hydrogen, which means trying to sculpt a tower like that into the ice. And I thought I was being a little bit weird building one out of mushroom blocks. At least this one's being built and that one's being sculpted. All the ones in the future are going to sound anticlimactic after that. But that's going to be for our next episode of The Atomic Island.